Today on episode 12 of the Reaper Paranormal Show, The Wendigo. So stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I am Roy, your host, and I'm joined by my co-host and Epi team member, Tom. And Tom, who do we have with us this week?
We have Shay.
Hi.
Shocker.
I know, right?
How you guys doing?
Good. How's it going?
Freezing. Freezing. Actually, by the time this airs, I think it's supposed to warm up, actually. I heard by the end of the week when this airs, it's supposed to be in like the. I live in Massachusetts, and we're recording this before the snowstorm that we're supposedly getting, and by the end of the week, next week, it's supposed to be in the 40s. So we'll see. We'll see if I'm feeling better by the time this show airs. So, you guys ready for this? The Wendigo?
Oh yeah.
But before the Wendigo, I have a story. I'm sitting here in my house last night, and my buddy comes over. He goes, "Hey, you got a package?" So I'm like, "Oh." I ordered several packages. I'm like, "Wow, that was quick." So I grabbed the FedEx box. I'm like, "Wow, this is an awful light box for what I ordered." So if you're on video, this is the box here. Let me go full screen here, so I'll give you guys a view. So this is the box. It's a good sized box. My video is kind of chunky today, just so you guys know. So it comes. So I look at the packaging. Well, first I'm like, oh, it's what I ordered. So I opened the box up right away. I look inside of it, and what's in there, I don't want to say what it is yet, but it's for a little girl. So I'm like, no, I didn't order this.
So it's perfect for you.
So I look at the package. I'm like, this must have been sent to somebody else's house. I opened this package without even reading it. So it says, Dan Ayers Price, Key West Art and Historical Society, Key West, Florida. So right now I'm thinking, this is for some guy in Florida. Again, not fully reading the packaging. So I'm like, oh, I got this poor guy's package. It's probably a collectible. Jesus, how did it get sent to me? Blah, blah, blah. And I looked at the pack, I think it's inside again. And I'm like, wait a minute. This looks awful familiar. So I look at the packaging again and scroll down. Lo and behold, it's my name. My first thought was, what the bleep did Tom and Shay do? So I took it out of the box to make sure it is what it was. And yes, it is what it was. So I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. So I don't want to keep anyone in suspense anymore. If you're watching on video, you're going to get to see what it is right now. On audio, sorry. We'll describe it for you. Tom hasn't seen this yet. So here we go. Can you guys see what this is?
Yeah, your video is choppy. There we go.
Maybe take it out of the plastic.
Yeah, the glare from the plastic is
you
making it
people.
tough to see.
Oh, you want me to touch it now? Oh, I see how
do.
you are.
Oh,
I
I thought you weren't afraid. And Mr. Tough Guy.
Oh, I'm really not actually. So what it is it's Robert the doll, and he's in a case, and I honestly think this is the coolest gift ever. So I'll show you the case in a second. I don't know if you hear my audio. So here's the doll.
Oh, it's so creepy.
I think it's pretty cool.
It is so creepy.
Hello.
Robin.
So it's a very cool doll, and it comes with a card. It just says thank you for your order. So this is the original Robert the Doll limited edition Key West Art and Historical Society. So it's actually a legit Robert the Doll replica. Well, I think it's the coolest thing ever. I'm going to cherish this bad boy. You think it's awful?
Awesome. When Shay said she had,
I'm going to bring it to your house.
No, I'm good on that. But when Shay said she did it, she's like, "Oh, I got to get his address, but I don't want to tip him off." I was like, "Oh, I have it," and we did it all discreet last week, and she got it and ordered it. I think it's awesome. It's so cool.
Pretty great. Thank you again, Tom.
Thank you for getting it for him. That's awesome.
So it comes with a card. Let me look at the card.
Yeah, what does the card say?
It's just a postcard. Just a postcard.
Okay.
Robert did it. That's pretty cool. So it comes in this. Robert the Doll in the Historical Society is in a glass case.
Mm-hmm.
So this is supposed to represent, I'm assuming, the glass case.
Yep.
So actually, that's a better view. So he sits in the glass case, and blah blah blah. So I think that's pretty awesome, Shay.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it.
It's so cool.
I think you should get a glass case for it.
Yes, you definitely need to put it in a glass case or something.
That would be actually that's a good idea. They have those individual cubes.
Yeah.
Stuff, and I plan on getting I don't know what the case is called. But Tom has these cases from IKEA, and I'm planning on putting some collectibles in it. And I plan on starting with 2 of them. It'd be good, like sitting on both of them, like in the middle, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
You get the 2 tall ones and put this right in the middle on top. It'd be a good,
You'll have to find him a chair.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can always check Michael's. Michael's has a lot of cool cases and stuff that would, I might be able to figure something out.
We got to permanently display him somewhere.
Yes.
I'm gonna put him right here.
I love it. That's awesome. So cool.
So we can see you guys, get you guys mouth off to me. You can put a kibosh on you.
Oh no! See, what you're missing here is when you order something, you order it under your name, and then you can leave comments, maybe mentioning your fellow podcast person Tom, who is also very appreciative of everything Robert won't do to us.
Well, my boy Robert has a good home now, so I'll take good care of him.
I hope so, because you need some very good Robert karma, because you have very bad Robert karma.
Yes.
So, he's done nothing to me. He likes me.
Well, he likes us more now. He likes Tom and I more now. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll see. We'll see the next couple of days. Remember, he's done nothing to me this whole time.
I'm just saying, I sent you the doll, and I haven't had any audio or video issues at all.
That's true. That's true. We've been having audio issues all day.
Before I even heard of them.
All day today, though. We've had issues.
I left a comment and it said, Tom and Shay love Robert, and Roy is evil.
Now, you've had issues today, too. Your audio was off today. It's Robert coming for you.
Once I fixed it, it was fine.
Robert's coming for you.
He likes me.
It's fine-ish. It's
yeah.
I don't watch. Why the other power go out now tonight? Actually, it's funny you say that.
You're gonna hear a little feet.
Oh Jesus! If I do now, Shay, I am so coming to your house. If I know where I live,
I get it. I wouldn't blame you.
So anyway, back to the show here. So yeah, so we got this cool doll. So if you guys are watching this, it's a very cool doll. If you're on audio, it's just a rubber the doll about what?
12 inches, I think?
12 inches. Yeah,
No, maybe 10, something like
and
that. Yeah.
it's in a little bag, but it's supposed to represent a case. And I think Tom's right, and Shay was right. I need to get a little chair and get a glass case for him. Let him give him his little home. I really dig this gift. It's a very cool gift.
I think it's awesome.
So I'm gonna put the kibosh on people. I'm gonna have them curse people for me. Whoever I like, they're screwed. Yeah,
Oh,
Robert,
man.
get him, Robert.
Get him.
I always wanted to have. When I was younger, I had I had fish, and I had a shark fish at one point. It was the coolest shark fish in the world. Only problem was he was eating the other fish, and I'm like, oh, I want a real shark. So I actually looked into it on what it would take to get a great white shark as a pet. Do you really know at the time I looked this up, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, it cost $10,000 a day
It's
to
a
keep a
shark.
great white shark.
Yes.
I know.
That makes
That
sense to me.
$10,000 a day.
That makes
And
sense.
that's having like a big pool. What's up? Would you say, Tom?
I said that makes sense to me.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. With all the food, yeah. And like I guess you'd have to have like special filtration. You know, it was like, holy Jesus. But I was like, can you imagine having a shark as a pet? You have someone that you hate, bring him over. Hey, look at my shark. You push him in the water. You never find the body. You could kill people and no one would know.
They'd be like,
That would
"Oh,
be cool.
that guy has a shark.
Yeah.
That's where he is." Doesn't like Roy. Roy has a shark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
We'll be
can't
talking about
prove
you
it,
on a
though.
podcast.
You can say I did it, but you can't prove it. I know watch someone do it now. Now we'll be knocking on our doors now.
Well, or it's like, oh yeah, Roy's got a shark. Probably not going there. Just
Mhm.
probably
I
not.
know. I don't think it'd be pumping over his house. People tend to fall in the water over there. That's good, Dom. Good point. I would be discreet.
Hard to be discreet with a great white,
So
though,
anyone-
isn't it?
Yep.
No, it wouldn't be very easy. The splashing. Can you imagine that? You go to his house. Come on the backyard. You see this fin coming out of the water. Dun, 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 dun. It was like, you're thinking, that
I
can't
don't
be
think
real.
they make that noise naturally.
yeah.
How do you know? How many great whites have you been in the water with?
3. No, none. I'm kidding. None that I know of. Probably a bunch,
Was it
but
3? Damn.
none that I know of.
That's true. Good point. I don't mean changing the subject, but I was watching. I love sharks. I'm a huge shark fan,
Shark Week.
and I watch Shark Week every year.
Yep.
And one year they did a thing on. I'm a proponent of not killing sharks. I don't think you should kill any creature, but that's another whole story. Unless you absolutely have to, obviously. But there was a thing on Shark Week, Malibu, California. They were videotaping for one of the specials, and they would. I guess they found out that juvenile great whites are being spotted there. So they started wondering if that was a breeding ground, because they still, as far as I know, they haven't been able to find where the sharks are breeding and where they're having the babies. But they're finding juvenile sharks in Malibu, California.
Wow.
And I guess there were thousands of people swimming in the waters every day along with the great white sharks. No one had been bit in like 5 years. Not one person. Which I thought was amazing. Because, one, they were juvenile, for one, but two, people weren't looking like seals, But anyway, let's get back on target here. So I want everyone, if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment on our video, and click that little bell so you stay informed of all our content. And comment, let us know what you think of Robert the Doll here. You think it's the coolest gift in the world? Do you think I should curse Shay and Tom for getting me this doll? What do you think? Let us know what you all think. If you're listening through audio, or if you even on YouTube, if you want to subscribe to our audio, you can go to www.podpage.com/The Reaper Paranormal Show, and you can go to our website and subscribe. There are little buttons on the website. It's really simple. You can click on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, all kinds of little apps you can click on to subscribe to our channel. And we're now even on Amazon Music and Audible. So if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get us through Amazon. So yeah, go to our website, click one of those little buttons. It's simple to subscribe, very easy to do, and you can get our audio. So with that, let's talk about the Wendigo. Tom, take it away.
All right. So today we're going to be talking about the Wendigo. I'm excited for this episode. It's our first sort of foray into talking about a mythological creature. Now, we've talked about entities and some, stories, and we've done some news, and we've done some interviews, but we haven't really talked about mythological creatures too much, or had a whole episode just dedicated to one. We've talked about the Pukwudgie in the past and stuff, but a whole episode. So I was able to find my Wendigo Funko just to show everybody before we jump into it. I know the glare in my house sometimes gets not great, but let's see here if you can see it. So you can kind of see the body's very emaciated. You can't really see on the top. There's some like antler type horns, sort of like moose antlers, but sharp, or deer, or like a buck antlers. There's a little blood on his fingers, and he's all black. This is a depiction from Hannibal, and now a lot looks similar. A lot of the depictions look very similar to this. This is from the show Hannibal from, I don't know, 5-10 years ago. Really cool show. So
I didn't realize that the Wendigo, I'm going to cut you off, Tom, that it was, we'll discuss it later. I don't know if you have it, but I actually have some. It's been mentioned in like a lot of shows.
Yes. I actually have that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not really familiar with the Wendigo. Like, I've heard of it, obviously, but like I'm not as familiar as a lot of people are with the Wendigo. So to hear that it was on all these shows and movies, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah. Video games, novels, it's comic books. He's popped up, but it's not a super well known creature. Like, I didn't know too much about it until Hannibal, and even after that I didn't know a ton about it. So but I find him fascinating and creepy and cool. So all right, here we go. A Wendigo is a mythological creature.
Where do you go?
When do you go?
Oh my word.
Yeah.
Sorry, Todd, I didn't make a joke. I know. I'm not a comedian.
It's a mythological creature or evil spirit from folklore of the First Nations Algonquin tribes that are based in the northern forests of the East Coast and the Great Lakes regions of Canada and the United States. So it comes from the there's a lot. The Algonquin word is Wendigo, just basically a different spelling within the Algonquin tribe. That it's thought it's from the subset of the. And I apologize if I'm mispronouncing these. There are a lot of Native American names. The Ojibwe tribe. Ojibwe,
yeah. Yep.
Ojibwe. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you for that, because I did not know. Comes from that Wendigo. So most points, or in most depictions of it, it is depicted as a monstrous, malevolent spirit with some human characteristics, or sometimes as a spirit that has been possessed by a person. And it invokes in the person that it is possessing acts of murder, insatiable greed, and cannibalism. And cannibalism's sort of the big one with the Wendigo folklore myth. And on top of that, there's also, and it's controversial, but there's actually a psychological disorder called Wendigo psychosis, which is a culture-bound syndrome. And culture-bound means that it's prevalent in, sort of cultures that believe in the Wendigo, like the Ojibwe God, I already lost it, Shay. And the Algonquins. And it's a culture-based syndrome that manifests symptoms of intense, very intense craving for human flesh and fear of becoming a cannibal. And it is also linked with environmental destruction and insatiable greed are two other manifestations of this psychosis.
So basically, Wendigo's a made-up thing, and people created it so they could keep people in line and keep them from eating people.
Well, yeah, I guess that could be. That's one
She shook her head.
I mean,
That's no theory.
Well, isn't that kind of like I probably shouldn't say it, but God wasn't that created to keep people in line? You know, it just it's back then they didn't have laws and stuff, so
hey, sin is real. You leave sin alone.
Oh, sorry.
It still wasn't Robert the doll. Robert the doll is real. You pick on Robert, my new friend.
Oh my word, he's changed. Sorry. Go on, Tom.
Oh no problem. It was great. So also with the Wendigo, it's like I was discussing. It's part of the Native American traditional belief system, specifically Algonquins. Some of the subset of tribes, the Ojibwe, the Saulteaux, the Cree, the Innu, and was usually associated with winter north, cold, famine, and starvation. And this is really cool. So this is, can you say the tribe one more time for me?
Ojibwe.
Ojibwe. So this Ojibwe teacher and scholar, Basil H. Johnson, he described it. Now, I don't have it word for word, but I took it's pretty close, and I took it. And he describes they're gaunt to the point of emaciation, its desiccated skin pulled tightly over its bones, pushing out against the skin, ash gray complexion, eyes pulled back deep into their sockets, looking like a gaunt skeleton that was recently disinterred from the grave. It has tattered and bloody lips. It's unclean, and it gives off a strange odor of death, decay, decomposition, and corruption. So you can kind of see here that it's like Roy was getting at. It's looked at as a creature, but it's also kind of used metaphorically within these cultures. With corruption, greed, gluttony, all those things. So it goes back to your point, Roy, which was a really good point, that it's created, whether or not they're real, which I hope they are, but who knows? Well, I don't know if I hope they are, because they eat humans. So that's kind of scary.
Some humans need to go, though.
That's true. That's true. They're often described as giants because whenever they eat, they grow to the size of whatever they ate. So if they ate me, for example, they grow to my size, but they still have that sort of emaciated look because they grow. And because this happens, because they grow to whatever size of the thing that they just ate, they are never full. They are always hungry, always looking for the next meal. So again, going back to the gluttony. Again, always looking for victims. You guys have anything you want to
go then?
What's that?
I think I'm a Wendigo. I'm always looking for my next meal. I like food.
You guys have anything you want to
tell me where the Wendigo.
Well, I want to bring something up, but I don't want to bring it up before you bring it up if you're going to. So I want to wait before I say anything.
Okay. So I don't know what it is. So that's
No, it's all right. It's related. I just want to see if you touch on it, and then I'll add in.
Okay. So in other traditions and cultures, sometimes humans overpowered by greed could turn into a Wendigo. It also happens if a person has to resort to cannibalism, and you can also turn into a Wendigo by being near one or are exposed to one for too long. If you're in the area of one too long, you can also turn into a Wendigo. And okay, I'm getting into entomology, which we don't really need to get into because it's Native American words. But there was, the last time there was a Wendigo, oh boy, a Wendigo ceremony, which I don't know too much about the ceremony, but they do these ceremonies. The last known one was done at Lake Wendigo of Star Island, which is in Cass Lake in Minnesota. All right, and then there's a few famous cases of of the psychosis, not of somebody being a Wendigo, but of Wendigo psychosis. There was one Algonquin, his name was Swift Runner, and this was in 1878. His son died. They were very hungry. It was this, they were hungry. His son died. So then after that, he decided to eat his wife and 5 children. And and then they found out that, and he was only 25 miles away from food, like a center, an outpost where they could get food and help and stuff like that. He was only 25 miles away, but he still resorted to eating his wife and 5 kids. So that's one, and that was in 1878. And then there was a second very famous case, Jack Fiddler, and this was 1907, and he resorted to cannibalism. And what I found interesting about this was he went to jail, but then he was pardoned. And they let him out, but then he died 3 days later. I couldn't find why he was pardoned, what it was, if it had to do with this psychosis, and they're sort of, because it was 1907, so scientific understanding at that time was very different. So I don't know if it had something to do with that, but I thought that was kind of interesting. Guy, resorts to cannibalism, but then yes.
Were both those cases in Canada?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, because I was reading that, which I didn't know this either.
Yep.
That a lot of it happened in Canada, but I guess there was some parts of Minnesota, like those few states, U.S. states that were involved around Minnesota, I guess. But but 90%, I guess most of it happened in Canada, which I never even knew that myself.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, and I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, because Minnesota, those states in the Great Lake region, up around the Great Lakes and stuff, that region, and then into Canada is exactly. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, and I believe both those cases did happen in Canada. If I'm wrong, I'll give everybody an update on our following episode, but I'm pretty sure they were Canada.
And if you guys think that we're off on something, feel free to type in below, message us. We will respond to your messages on YouTube. So if you have some info, feel free to let us know. I'm not as smart as Shay is, so
I named my tarantula Ojibwe. That's the only reason I know it.
Oh, that's a cool name, actually.
It means web weaver, I think, actually. So that's why.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
I couldn't even say that word, so I'm not even gonna try. Ojibwe.
Ojibwe. So that's pretty much. I mean, I have some stuff on pop culture, which we'll get to sort of a little bit later. The last thing, going back again, because we've talked about what Roy had brought up, being created, and as a metaphor, it's usually associated with the expression of the darkest parts of the human nature, such as greed, consumption, and disregard for life. So that's pretty much the nerdy stuff as far as the research goes that I have for the Wendigo. So
one
Shay,
thing
you're up.
that I wasn't sure if you were going to touch on it or not. One of when you said we were doing the Wendigo this week, I was so excited for this theory.
yeah,
One of the people that we've all heard about thought to have suffered from possible Wendigo psychosis. And again, the location's a little off, but back then, who knows? George Donner.
wow, I never, I didn't see that in my research,
Really?
but mind blown again.
Right, I know. I'm so excited. I was so excited when you said it. So I love that theory. I think I think it fits in a lot of ways, and it really kind of makes you look at that whole story a lot differently.
That's awesome. And honestly, and we're definitely going to do a Donner Party episode at some point in the future because it's on my list, and so I'm so glad you brought that up. But I never even made that association. Didn't see it in my research, but that is awesome. That is like, yeah.
One lesser, I think, followed theory too, and I don't 100% agree with this one lining up, and it's also in Russia, I believe, is it's thought that might have been a possibility for a Dyaltov Pass.
Which
right?
Did you just see that what the scientists just released about the Dyaltov Pass, the new stuff? So
no.
Because it came back into sort of hip again. People wanted to know about it again, and in Russia and stuff. So the scientists, but it's kind of boring. They did like simulations, and they were able to recreate a lot of those injuries.
Wow.
Through their simulations of minor avalanche. So not a huge one, like a smaller avalanche, because that was avalanche is a big thing. There's a lot of there would be you would see it around the destruction it had to the environment around it too, where these people were just kind of messed up from the missing tongues and stuff like that. And their explanation for the tongue, but they said it's not great, but that was probably an animal that scavenger animals ate out the tongues, but they're like the broken ribs and the things, some of those other injuries they said would have been from a minor avalanche, but definitely research it. It was funny you brought it because I just read it yesterday because I love that story.
Yeah, have you seen Devil's Pass, the movie?
No.
It was okay, but it was fun because I've never seen another movie playing tribute to it at all. So it was pretty neat. Devil's Pass.
I'm gonna write that down because I have.
What was it on? It was on some. When I started, it was on some cable network.
I saw
didn't
it so
see
long
it
ago. I can't remember.
Cable.
I'm gonna check that out because
I wanted to watch it, and I was like, I don't have that channel.
Why I have a problem with it 100% being like a smaller avalanche is they have, there were some that were dead from no injury. They froze to death.
Yeah.
For which they're scientists, they were prepared, they had everything they needed, and they just froze to death. Like that was just.
Yeah, I wasn't super satisfied by the article. I know, like it was totally like clickbait too. Like it sounded like it was going to be something really cool, and then it was all just like scientific stuff, and it was, and who knows, because it is from Russia, and like information censored and stuff. But I guess they had been doing it because there was renewed interest a few years ago, and they just did some more tests on it. It's, which is another thing. I'm sure we'll discuss that story sometime in the future as well, because that's another one that just fascinates me. They all do. I know I sound like a broken record. I'm like, oh, that fascinates me. That fascinates. It all does. So they're
fascinating. So.
But that's a great point. I had never thought about that, but that makes sense to me too. What happened there? That could that's just as plausible as some of the other crazy theories that I've heard. I've heard some crazy ones on the past there. So very cool, very cool. So,
Well, I'm getting another update
what's that?
now. Now I'm seeing. I'll have to edit this obviously. They're saying like, in our the highest part of our area is like 5 to 9 inches, and that looks like west of Brockton.
Oh, he's talking about the
So
snowstorm.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I was like, what's it? 5 to 9 inches? What?
No, I changed the subject. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
According to the weather, now they're saying it's supposed to rain part of it now. They don't know what's going to happen.
yeah. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
They go 40 feet from the ground.
I hate snow. Hate shoveling it.
Well,
Hate.
since I got off the subject, and I'm going to edit this out anyway, what are we discussing next week?
Oh, good point.
Why not one of
I'm
those?
trying to find my notes from all the shows.
Yeah,
One of what?
one of the ones that she just brought up.
Either
I
the
wasn't
Donna
listening to
Party
what's
or
in the weather.
Delta Spass.
I'm fine with either. I mean, you guys,
Yeah.
you guys.
It's you, Shay. Shay, you decide. It's your topic.
All right, let me think on it. One of them, though. I'm not sure.
I mean,
You
I'm
gotta tell
down.
me before the show's over.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm down for either. So,
But we have
and,
time though.
and since we didn't edit this out, and we're gonna add this out, and I just I forgot on the opening,
Yeah.
you didn't go full screen on yourself, Roy, on the teaser before you went live.
God damn it!
So,
Jesus.
so but anyway, all right.
I'm so mentally challenged. I swear to God. Yeah, Shay, don't. If you are talking, Shay, don't feel like you have to be perfect. If you have to stop and reset, or if you say something that's not quite right, you want to go back and redo it. Just say, "Oh, I want to redo that."
I'm less concerned with
listening,
my.
and I can edit it.
I'm less concerned with my talking and more concerned with the fact that I can't not make weird faces the entire time this is going on. So I'm constantly looking at myself like, what am I doing?
And-
What is that face?
Like, can't you make weird? You can do all weird faces you want. Who cares? I don't care to make weird faces. I don't care what you do. You know what do I care? I don't think Tom cares.
No,
I'm just saying, that's how I feel.
I'm always making weird faces. So my face is
I
weird.
just want good audio. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
I don't care how the video comes out because most of our audience is not going to be from. Well,
Yeah.
it shouldn't from my video.
Yeah.
If most of our audience is from my video, we have to change our priorities because we're not doing something right.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
So,
All
we
right.
have good. I don't care.
So,
I have pop culture. That's all I have. I don't know what you guys have left.
yeah, I mean, that's basically the rest of pop culture. But did you guys want to jump in with it or have any sort of conversation or anything else before we jump into that?
Well, I think once I saw the Wendigo psychosis, I'm like, yeah, there it is. It's just one of those things where it was created to make it to keep people in line.
I mean,
That's my opinion.
yeah, and I mean that makes sense. I mean, but it also, I mean, it goes back for a long time within these cultures, so I can definitely see that. Because I had no idea about the psychosis, honestly, but it makes sense because I just never put two and two together with Hannibal and stuff like that, and because that's sort of how it deals with the psychosis because Hannibal Lecter eats human flesh, and that's why when he dreams, he sees Hannibal Lecter as a Wendigo because Wendigos are cannibal, eat humans. I just never put two and two together. But yeah, I mean that's a throughout history. That's like I said with God and other things that we make up these Santa Claus, Krampus. We make up these things to keep kids in lines or to teach sort of morals and you look at it now and most of these people with that are related or ancestors of these Native American tribes, they look at it metaphorically now, which we got into with the metaphor of the darkest sides of the human nature, which include greed, consumption, disregard for life. So It is definitely, the thoughts on it has definitely evolved, which makes sense. But before we jump into the pop culture, where it pops up in pop culture, where our audience can check it out, did you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about on it?
Nope.
Not
Not
me.
that I can think of.
All right. So I know, Roy, you're going to jump in on this. So why don't you give us some of pop culture, where you see it within pop culture?
Well, Wendigo's all over pop culture. It appears in Marvel Comics. Actually, it's in the Incredible Hulk 162. It appears,
Mm-hmm.
and it also appears in. I didn't write down the date, but in the following October, it was in the Incredible Hulk again.
Yeah, it
And
didn't
then-
give the number. It just said October 74 issue. So of Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I thought too. And then it actually appeared in movies. Dark Was the Night, Ravenous, and the 2020 movie The Retreat. And all those movies I actually wanted to see, and I haven't seen any of them yet. so I'm like, ooh,
Yeah, I'm
check
gonna
those
watch
out.
The Retreat.
And then,
I didn't know about that movie.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And then the TV shows that it was on, most of them I didn't watch. Teen Wolf, which I didn't watch. Supernatural, which I know about. I know it was on that. I actually watched the original Charmed. I remember it being on that. Grimm, if you haven't watched Grimm, you poor person, you're
I love
disabled,
Grimm.
because you need to watch Grimm.
oh, I never
Yeah.
watched.
What
Sure.
a great show.
Oh, I'll have to check it out. I never watched it. I didn't know it was good.
Is that Tom?
I've never watched Grimm.
It's awesome.
I actually
Write it down.
I have a funny story about Grimm. I came in the guy's name, the black guy on the show, the black cop. I actually met him at the convention.
Mm-hmm.
My first year of doing the convention, I was helping my friend Jackie book the celebrities into their hotel rooms. So we were outside getting ready to have some beers with me, but Jackie, her boyfriend at the time, a couple of actors, and a couple of guys from this TV show, Face Off. We're all getting ready to have some beers and start drinking outside, which is, come with that now, it's like, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still booking in celebrities. And he comes in, and so Jackie goes, "Is that the guy from Grimm?" I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't know these people when they're not on set. Because like, Tom, they look different in person to me.
Oh, yes, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I'm like, he's a black guy. I don't know. And he gets closer. I go, I think he is. I think it is him. Not sure at all. So I'm like, go grab him before he goes in. No, I'm thinking I might be wrong. So I'm like, setting her into the fire. Like, if it's not him, she's going to look really horrible. Because the guy would be like, what? Do all black people look alike? But luckily it was him. Yeah.
I just confused. You don't know all black people?
I'm
I know
amazed.
most of them.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay. I feel
Yeah.
better now.
I know most. They're about 75%.
That's not good. You got to up it a
he gets
little.
booked in. Oh, I mean, too. So he gets booked in, and then he comes out. We were like, "Oh, do you need anything?" He goes, "No, I'm just gonna go to the store and meet my wife." So he comes back. He has all these bags of food. We're like, "What'd you do? Go food shopping?" He's like, "Yeah." We're like, "Oh, well, you drinking, you want to eat before you get really drunk." Yeah, he tried to give us some chips so we'd have something to eat, or we're sitting outside drinking. He tried to get, I got chips. People are like, no, we're good.
Aw.
And we're all like, oh, food is so good right now. But he's like, yeah, I have some shit. Like, no, that's your food, dude. Very nice guy. Very nice. But all right, that's story. I'll probably edit that out. It was stupid. But it was on Hannibal, obviously, and then it was in video games also.
Yeah.
It was in Until Dawn, which I've actually played.
I never
It's
played
a really good horror game. It was that?
I've never played it.
You played it?
No, I never played it. I have never played it.
It's one of those games where everything you do has a consequence.
Okay.
and it changes as you go into the game. And they use real actors, like they superimpose them into the game, like they're in the game. It's pretty cool. And it's in Fallout 76 from 2018.
Oh, cool.
So that's what I have. I don't know what else you guys got.
Yeah, I had all those. It was also in Blood Ties. It was in the Pet Cemetery novel as well. This I found
Really?
very interesting. It was in a Christmas special episode of DuckTales, which I was a
Really?
huge fan of
I
DuckTales.
saw that. I'm
Yeah.
like, really?
But I don't remember that episode. I loved DuckTales as a kid. I thought it was ahead of its time. It was a great cartoon, but I was very surprised that a Wendigo showed up in the Christmas special of DuckTales. I'm gonna have to try to find a video of that.
Winter animal.
So, and that was pretty much, that's all I had. The Teen Wolf and those. Yeah. So, did you have anything else that was in Shay?
I mean, my favorite is just the Pet Cemetery one, but I know they didn't physically show like an embodied one in the movies, but I still think they did a fantastic job of just depicting it, because you take something as sweet and innocent as a baby, or and then one, the slightly older little girl, and and you make them that evil, sinister thing. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awful, but it's awesome.
Pet Cemetery is such, especially the original. I enjoyed even the newer one, but it's such a great film, and great book too. Great book, but a really good film. Yeah. So
I love both Pet Cemeteries.
Yeah. It pops up a lot, and for something a lot of people don't know about, and even I had sort of a cursory knowledge of it. It pops up a lot in pop culture for something that's not that well known. Wendigo, because I guarantee I could go to work and 23 guys on my shift. I guarantee 20 of them wouldn't know what a Wendigo was. So
well, even me, who I know, I don't know a lot about it, but I know a lot about different creatures and folklore, and I've heard of the Wendigo, but I learned more today in my research than I have of all the years I've known of it, or seen it in a show or something. The Wendigo never fascinated me, for no reason. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
Fair. It's just it was like, whatever. But I've learned more from it, and it gives a different perspective on people's psyche, and let's say it is true. That's pretty crazy,
Yeah, definitely. Especially with it, because like I said, I wasn't really familiar with the whole psychiatric disorder, and now, like I said, it makes sense now in hindsight, because hindsight's 2020, looking back on shows and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty. I learned a lot as well about it, and very cool.
I think we're gonna get Shay tested for the psychosis.
That works. I get it. I agree.
I was wondering what response I'd get.
Yeah, no, I'm game. Is it a swab like the COVID? Because
it's a swab, all right.
Okay. Well, all right.
Like, whatever.
Whatever.
So what do you want to do next week, Shay?
The Altives Pat. No. Donner Potty. I don't know. I still don't know.
I'm down with either, so.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to us.
Don't worry. Whatever you just do, the other one we'll just do on a future episode.
Right.
So.
The Altives Pass.
Nice.
Yep.
The Altives Pass?
Yep.
Okay. I'll forget that.
Just call it the Devil's Pass.
Yeah, if you did a Google search of Devil's Pass, it should pop up too.
Okay, that's how I know it as. Okay. You kids and your futuristic stuff.
That's from.
Yeah.
I don't even know. It's a long time ago.
Yeah. Pretty sure it was in the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I know it's at least a couple decades ago.
But people, my generation calls it the Devil's Pass.
That works.
We're not as hip as you kids.
It's
You-
knowledge.
you
Knowledge is
kids-
power. No, I was kidding. It's
See,
not.
people of my generation just don't.
Well, having a shock is power.
It's like, I haven't had this conversation too much where I've heard people talk about it. So
Me either. I don't know a lot of people that talk about the stuff we talk about. So.
no. So
But
Well,
that's
I know 3.
yeah, the 3 of us.
I know 3
Mhm.
people.
But sweet. So yeah. So next week we'll do the Alta Pass, and nice. I'm excited.
Yep, it's gonna be good. I'm excited.
All right. So that was a very good episode. Who picked this episode?
Tom.
I did this one. Yep, this was me.
Good job, Tom. Good episode. I actually learned something. You know,
Yeah, it was.
I like getting a show where. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it was a little like to start it. It was a little heavy on research and stuff, but I'm a nerd for that, so I was what else?
Yeah, I mean, I like learning about stuff, and to think of that, I like I said, I think it's a psyche thing,
Yeah,
but it doesn't mean it's not true.
yeah.
Sucky.
Oh boy.
I mean, to imagine
oh
it.
boy.
And what a cool name! If you're gonna turn into a sucky thing, a Wendigo would be pretty cool.
His mind's still in the hostel. Don't mind him.
Yes, yes. The all girls hostel.
Yeah.
Good old hostel. It's funny you say that. No, it's funny you say that because I was looking up just like stories, paranormal stories today, and I found
Paranormal stories.
Yeah, it was on Feedly.com, and there were stories about sex with ghosts. I'm like, what?
I read those.
Incubus and succubus, right?
You read the stories, and yep. You read the stories, and you read the comments. And one person commented, I'm paraphrasing, but they go, I don't want to disparage your story. I don't want to say anything bad. I don't think you're a bad person, but I think you're ridiculous. I think the story is just not true. And I was like, holy Jesus. But they're trying to be nice about it. I'm like,
yeah.
Because I was thinking the same thing, ironically, because it was weird. It sounded too much like a story. Like if Shay said, "Roy, write me a story about a succubus," and then it's just something that you would write that someone want to read, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was just like it wasn't very graphic or anything, but you know what I mean? It kind of leads you into like, oh, that's what happened, kind of thing. But it was like it seems too much like a story, and I just.
Well,
whatever.
doesn't everything sound like a story if you're telling it? I'm just saying. It really does.
No,
like, hold on, wait. Let me tell you something. Wait, listen. Hold on. I'm gonna prove my point. I went out for dinner the other night to Texas Roadhouse, and I had a steak, and it was absolutely delicious. The most tender thing. See, I'm telling a story, but it really happened.
It's true. It's true.
But it really happened. But you proved my point, though. It really happened.
But
it doesn't sound like a story. It sounds like you're telling me a fact.
No, there was all sorts of alliteration in there and everything.
I forget where I was going with this too now.
Sorry, I'm distracted.
That's a lot, Shay.
I know. My bad.
Yeah, I have no idea what I had a point at the beginning. It must not have been a very good point, I'm guessing. Which most of my points aren't very good, but I like to throw out useless information. I like to cripple little minds.
Like the cripple mind?
I'm just rambling along here. No, that's not what I said.
Oh.
No, I forgot what I said now.
I can't hear it.
Confuse me.
You cut out a little bit, sorry.
You guys have anything else to add?
Nope.
All right. Well, Shay, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank
it's
you.
Always a pleasure. And I'm sure we'll see you next week. Can't get rid of you now.
Yeah, I'm here.
Uh-oh. Don't make me call my friend. I'll call him over your house.
Hey, he loves me.
And by the way,
we have a relationship.
Don't let Shay fool you, Tom. I went to her house and she had the coolest, creepy Halloween setup I've ever seen in my life. She had a baby
I
crib
do.
filled with these scary, creepy little dolls. Like dolls with eyes hanging out, limbs missing.
Yeah,
There's
my
one on
zombie
fire.
babies.
Like it was like all this creepy. I was like, this is fucking awesome. It was creepy at the same time, but it was like, this is the greatest thing ever. He's like, yeah. She just kind of blew it off, like, yeah, that's just like, yeah, no big deal.
I believe it.
I'm like, oh,
I believe
I'm used to being awesome. It's just normal for me.
it.
yeah,
All right.
you are awesome, Shay. All right.
Eh,
So on
sorry.
that note, I want to thank everyone for watching our show today. If you're watching on YouTube and like the show, which you should, subscribe. Subscribe to our show. Check out all our cool content. We have a show called The Geek Perspective, which is on this channel also. Check out those videos. We have all kinds of cool content on there. If you're listening to the podcast on a podcatcher, go to our pod page website, www.millions.com, podpage.com, and then over again. Go to www.podpage.com/The Reaper Paranormal Show and check out our cool content. If you miss some old videos, we have old videos there. We have old audio there. So check it out. So for Tom, Shay, and myself, thank you for listening to our show today and have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Night.